If you've ever come back from a trip and realized there's no place like home, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. I am back, and that is true. There is no place like home. I gotta say, those last couple of days in Detroit were absolutely popping, off the chain. Whatever the kids are saying nowadays, that's what it was. It was absolutely spectacular. So had a great time. Team did a really awesome job. You see any BZ members out there in internet land today, you pat them on the back because they did an awesome job throwing that event together in what seemed like a week. So really awesome stuff from the team. Super, super proud of the team. We're back here on a Monday. There's some more money to be had, and we're going to go ahead and get it.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, folks. Hello and welcome. Happy Monday. Welcome back. It is great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Let me bring on my main man, 13. 13, how you doing here today?
I'm doing all right. How's everybody doing this morning? Hope we're going to have a pretty good day. It's Monday, but hey, got the market coming to us, so we're going to have a good time trading it.
We are. Now, I will say this, STFU, I heard Ryan was living in a van down by the river. There's Ryan Farley. Let me tell you, if you guys are saying that because you recognized who I was supposed to be from our goofy draft day skit, then you know what? That's about all of the compliments I was hoping for there. This was a goofy thing that Joel and I kind of spitballed at the last second. We weren't even sure if it was going to work. We weren't even sure if people were going to show up. And then you folks came out and showed out in spades like you always do. So STFU, I really appreciate that. I hope that you folks found that funny or entertaining. I gotta say, from my end of the desk, I had an absolute blast doing that. So okay, enough of that stuff. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. We are back for what we do here, or what we're trying to do here every day, which is make some money and make sense of the market. Before we get started here, I do want to mention that the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. Special shout out to them. I know I was traveling last week and couldn't really kind of get into it, but we are back at the home base and we are going to hit it. So if you need to get above the 25K day trading threshold, Trade the Pool is the spot to go. If you just need some more buying power and you don't want to use your own capital, check them out. Try out the eval period. And we have some exciting things coming around the corner. So really, really good stuff there. Now, with Trade the Pool side, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stuff that's going on here today. The first thing that we're going to do, 13, is we're going to start with the SPY, as we always do. And Money Mitch was on Trade the Pool this morning. Awesome. You know, it's funny. I actually talked to a couple of people during the event, and Mitch's name got dropped, and I heard Mitch is doing well. So that's really awesome. Thanks for the shout out there, Wiss. Okay, let's take. Go ahead. Say again.
No, we're going to need an update. Have him come on here and give us an update about what's going on with his life.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll reach out here tonight, see if I can't schedule something. I got some other guests that I'm working on scheduling to come on the stream here. So we'll have fun with that stuff as well. Okay. Let's talk about the SPY here real quick. Looking at this, obviously we sold off several days in a row. And last week, we kind of had this chop, right? So we bounced really between our 100-day and our 50-day. I also have the 20-day. That's what the light purple line is here, since we've been talking about that. It does look like today we're a little bit higher. We did kind of run into 510. In fact, the high print that I have in the pre-market here is 509.99. And it looks like we're kind of using that as resistance. Looking at this daily chart here, the picture is pretty clear to me. As long as we stay under these two moving averages, we will probably resume some downside. Maybe we won't fully break down here today, but we'll probably stay in this little range that we have right in here. Let's call it maybe 495 to 510, that 15-point SPY range. Could stay in there as long as we don't break out from this. If we do break out from these two moving averages, the one thing that I'd be looking for here is the all-time high break. I don't have that number exactly to the penny here, but it's right around this 524 area. If that happens, we'll hell, we're going to have to reassess at that point. I'm still kind of thinking that we go for some downside here. I wouldn't be surprised if the market kind of chopped around a little bit and then took another leg down. That wouldn't shock me either. I know we've got the Fed coming out of a blackout period later here this week. And I think we've got some earnings on deck here. So 13, what do you make of the SPY?
Well, it's not really behaving in the way that I was, hoping for. Wanted to see some more downside earlier last week. Didn't get that quite yet. Still looking for that to happen. I like your assessment of the moving averages. We are a little bit above the 20-day SMA, but we are beneath the 50. So I'd be surprised if we continue to break through those. I just want to ultimately end up with April closing out here, a bit red, and because I'm expecting the next couple of months to also be red. So as long as I get my my wish list or what I want, I'm going to see these months start to trend down, the SPY trade down. That's ultimately what I'm looking for. I want to see at least 10% correction. So we'll see if I get that today. If we start trending lower, one thing of interest, Tesla today is trading up on news that they're going to be tapping Baidu or partnering with Baidu to bring full self-driving to China. This might be a good short-term game, but I think ultimately in the long term, this is not going to be great for China. Kind of makes you, or not China, but Tesla. Kind of makes you wonder what they gave up in order to keep this China EV practice going. So I'm looking for some downside in Tesla at some point here, but downside doesn't materialize in the way that I've been expecting. So I continue to wait for it.
Well, I'll tell you what, that segue was perfect because we went right from SPY, where we normally start, to the top stock that I wanted to talk about here today, and that is, of course, Tesla. Good job outlining the news catalyst that is driving us plus 13.5% here so far, 13 in the pre-market. The one thing that I will say, like we've talked a lot about the self-driving and all of that stuff, and my opinion is really not even important when it comes to this. But that notwithstanding, I do think that there might be kind of a short trade setup going on here. Now, I'm not looking to necessarily short this out of the gate here today. I'm not trying to jump in front of a speeding train or a speeding Tesla, as it might be. But if this actually starts to maybe reverse, break some of those levels, if we get that nice formation where it breaks out of one of these pre-market ranges, retests it, and then starts to move lower, giddy up, we'll short this here for a day trade. I'm with you. China's got all types of problems. What did they give up? Is this actually a good PR? Does the news end up holding, right? We've seen some of this news drive the stock higher, and then that stock inevitably comes back in. What will be Tesla's fate here today? Plus 13.5% here in the pre-market means we've already got kind of a head start on some of these gains. I expect Tesla to be wild today. Would love to hear from the chat what your plans are for trading Tesla here today.
We also are trading up to a resistance level that we had support previously. If you look at October 31st, that price kind of came down, almost hit 194 exactly. So we got a good rebound there, and it traded up until this year, January, where we broke through that level. Now we're going to come back up and test that as resistance. So I think that 194 would be a pretty important level to watch for today. So just put that out. I'm just putting that out there. 194. Maybe if you're trading this, 194 could be a good level where you might want to take your profits. But yeah, that's just what I'm seeing.
No, I think you're spot on there. I think you're spot on there. And guess what, 13, our regular, let's call them proficient Tesla traders, Lynn and Randy, they're saying short Tesla for sure. They're looking for the same setup. So, okay. We will go ahead and do that. By the way, thanks for all of the kind words from all of you regarding last week. I didn't have enough time to go through them all individually, but I thank you. Also, a couple things I wanted to go with here. Jay Rice, good morning. Happy Monday. Hopefully your recovery is doing well. I'm sad to say I didn't see any of the golf tournament this week. I really slacked on that. So if anything interesting happened, be sure to update me. However, Jay saying the game plan here for earnings is for looking for names to buy on pullbacks after positive reactions. List includes Google, TSCO, VRT, URI, NEM, SKX, Snap, and Pi. Okay, so giving us a lot of stocks to take a look at there. Really love that, Jay. And boy, look at the office assistant. He's using it as a jungle gym here this morning. And then also giving us a game plan here, right? So you're looking for these names that report good earnings, maybe not gangbusters, but good earnings when they pull back. I would imagine, especially if they pull back to any type of support level, looking for possible longs there. So sounds to me like you're not looking for a real big dip in the market, and instead treating this as a stock pickers market and going after some of the really good names. Really good stuff there. We'll check in on some of these names as we keep going. Good morning, Rustam. It's great to see you here this morning. And then I wanted to cover this comment. Juan Carlos saying Elon sweet talk the world. Juan Carlos, you are exactly right. He's going to keep doing that, by the way. So expect more sweet nothings to be whispered all over the world from Elon. Okay. Let's go over to the movers tool and see what's gapping here today. First stock that we want to cover here is going to be DCPH. This is not going to be a trade. This is actually an acquisition. It's the biggest gapper of the day. Stock's up 71.5%. Deciphera Pharmaceutical shares are trading higher after the company announced it will be acquired by O&O Pharmaceuticals for $25.60 in cash. Stock's currently at $25.12. No trade here. The reason I wanted to highlight this is, look, pharmaceuticals, we talked about biotech and this whole thing being a possible big sector at the beginning of the year, and it is proven to be that. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have a line on any of these companies that are being acquired. So really can't do a victory lap because I wasn't in any of these that get bought out at a huge premium. But just goes to show you there's still some action happening here. And this is another one. So we'll see if this actually applies to any other stocks or anything like that. I'm not too sure, not trading this one, but at least wanted to cover it and set the groundwork here. Next on the movers tool is going to be PHG, and I'm going to let you guys try this, but I am not going to try and pronounce this company name. I do enough embarrassing stuff on this show where I don't need to try pronouncing things that's got 85 Ks, Js, and Ls in it. I'm just not going to do it correctly, so I'm just going to call it by the ticker PHG. Now, PHG here, shares are trading higher after the company announced $1.1 billion settlement for Respironics, personal injury and medical monitoring litigation. Are reported better than expected Q1 earnings and reaffirmed guidance. So this stock here was just under, what was this? About $21. We're up here almost trying 30 again. We were above 30 earlier. Looks like we were above 31. We've dipped a little bit here. I expect this stock to be in play. One of the things that we're looking at here is we really haven't lost the pre-market range yet. We actually have after this initial pop here, we actually have a pretty decent range, right? $28 to about $31. So take a look here, PHG. Do you have anything on this 113? I know we didn't talk about this morning, but figured I'd check in with you here.
Yeah, this one's moving on a couple of things. They recently got handed down a settlement, $1.1 billion settlement for Respironics and personal injury and medical monitoring litigation. They also had their ER. The thing that I'm worried about this not moving so much is these other lower float stocks that we like to trade more often. This one has 881 million shares. So once the big holders are done playing with this, then it's going to be up to retail. And I don't think retail is going to move this around as much as some of these other ones that we'll get into in just a bit here.
Okay. Good stuff there. I do have a setup here in the Trade the Pool broker that we're going to be flipping to on PHG. So again, if it breaks out of that $28 to $31 range and then back tests whichever end of the range it breaks out of, we should be able to take a trade on that. So I'll keep you posted on that. Okay, I'm almost a little hesitant to go to this next ticker. I'm not going to lie. We're going to cover it. I'm a little bit worried about it. I don't want any drama here this morning or anything like that. It's a Monday, but Mullen is next on the list here.
Oh, it is?
Now, okay. now here's the thing. Okay, we've covered Mullen a lot. We all know what this stock is. We all know what this company is. We all know what it isn't at this point. But it is moving here today. And the cat has bird feathers in his mouth. What on earth? Okay, I'm going to let him do his thing, and we're just going to focus. Mullen Automotive shares are trading higher after the company announced the California Air Resources Board has approved the 2024 Mullen 3 for the hybrids and zero emissions truck and bus voucher incentive project. So it got some, Jay Rice really summing it up very succinctly here. Mullen got some PR from California. That's about it. Now, the stock is spiking here. Okay, so we'll call that out here. This broke out from 325. Looks like it traded all the way up to 450. It's coming back here to 4. Yes, there might be a trade available here. Just understand what it is that you're trading here. If we take this is for capturing a day trade move. I think we've covered this stock in such detail now that no one really believes any type of long-term story here. I don't know. Maybe you do. I'm not here to convince you otherwise. Just understand why it is that we're bringing this up. I know that the stock invokes emotion. So even with me, I've known better, and I've taken losses on this, and I've been upset at myself for donating to the Mullen cause. But this one's on deck here. 13, you got anything on Mullen?
Yeah, I'm just kind of reading the news because I wasn't really paying attention to this morning, even though I did see it moving. It's just on eligibility for cash incentives if they sell trucks. It sounds similar to what Tesla had when it got off the ground with their incentives, or they were selling tax credits or something like that. But this is just California seemingly putting cash into the Mullins pocket if they can sell their vehicles. That's what it sounds like to me. Trade it however you want. I really don't know what to think about this. I don't think this is really something California needs to be doing. I have my own personal issues with California, and I won't get into that. But if this presents a trade for you, by all means, try to capture some of that momentum.
Okay. Sounds like they're hybrid. Sounds like they're going hybrid versus EV. We'll see. Okay, Mullen, ticker MULN on deck here. Next, HWH. And we talked about this one last week. Looks like this had a decent day on Friday. Looks like this kind of was on our radar Thursday, only to be a disappointment. And so here we are, HWH. This actually right back to the high end of the range that it did on Friday. That's about 220. Looks to be some resistance there. 219 is where your VWAP is. We're only 2 cents beneath that. We do have some pre-market highs of about 240, and this coincides to the pre-market highs around the pre-market highs, on Thursday of last week. So HWH, this might be setting up here again. 13, you got anything on HWH?
I don't see any news, so I'm
nothing new. Yeah,
I just think this is a relative volume play. That's really all I can pull out of this.
Yeah, and one of the things that we've seen is that sometimes the best move in some of these stocks isn't actually the first day when we cover it here. It's several days later after that relative volume makes the stock appear on lists and scans, and that's why 13's bringing it up here. I think that's really sharp. Okay, next one I have here is NKGN. This is NKGen Biotech. Biotech, NKGen Biotech shares trading higher after the company announced FDA clearance of its IND application for SNK01 NK cell therapy in Parkinson's disease. So we get a PR here regarding Parkinson's disease and a new treatment. Stocks popping here up 16%, right at about $1.87, right under the VWAP at $1.93. Pre-market high here, 218. You like NKGN? This is another one that we've traded here before. And in fact, you can see this also has some relative volume effect going on. As this thing really started to dip, it bounced pretty hard off of this 82 cent level, and you can see 3 days in a row here of really elevated volume. I'm not surprised to see the price rising during that time. As the volume dropped off a little, so too did some of the action, right? The price kind of traded sideways. It didn't break down, but it kind of traded sideways. Today, we're getting a little bit more pop, and sure enough, we're getting a pop here in the pre-market, but let's see if the regular session holds this here. This 218, this was a consolidation area from the end of March. This represents recent highs. 13, what say you, ticker NKGN?
Well, this is like an old girlfriend that just won't take no for an answer. It seems like every time there's like a day where there's no news, and then the next day there is news. There's been a lot of news coming out with NKGN lately. Today, this was probably bigger than some of that other news that's been coming out in the past weeks. They got FDA clearance for their drug. So that's a big step. I don't think they need to raise a whole lot of cash, so I'm not 100% sure about that, because I did see that they did have some kind of private placement recently. So I do have 9 million shares in the float. Not too difficult to push around, so retail traders will have fun with this one. But I think this news carries a little bit more weight. We just need to start seeing these their product, become used, and then we can start talking about revenue, more revenue. But for now, FDA clearance, I think that's a big hurdle. This one should present some trading opportunities, though I don't know for how long.
Yeah. Okay. Real good stuff there. NKGN. Next here, that it's worth mentioning, and I'm just going to mention these three, and then we can kind of break them down. I do want to highlight something here from the chat before I forget. We've got IBRX. This has a catalyst here and looking like it's going to pop higher. We'll start with that. We have NIVF from last week. Looks like this is just kind of continuation action. From last week. And then we also have Hollow. So I know Lynn and Randy are there. Randy might not have had his second or third cup of coffee yet. I haven't heard a Hollow, YOLO, JOLO cry yet, but we might get that a little bit later here today. Hollow holding a little bit higher. So these three stocks here were in play last week, look to be in play here again. Just in case we run out of time going over some of these, I do want to mention this because this week's going to be a busy earnings week. And shout out to Alyssa, by the way, who is backstage. Alyssa works extremely hard at putting together those gorgeous earnings calendars that you see floating around Twitter. And they're really important, especially for weeks like this. So looking ahead here, Jay had mentioned that SMCI reports tomorrow night. So after hours tomorrow. Jay thinks it's going to be wild. I agree with Jay. But looking around at some of the other earnings for this week, AMD, Amazon, Starbucks, and Pinterest also report the same night that SMCI does tomorrow night. And by the way, so does Root. Ticker ROOT reports tomorrow after hours. So that will be a wild one too. It's also worth noting tomorrow morning, if you're going to position yourself today using the options market for earnings tomorrow, we've got PayPal, Eli Lilly, 3M, McDonald's, and Coke in the morning. So some pretty big companies that might have an effect on where the market actually is when we wake up tomorrow. Looking ahead, Wednesday, you've got Pfizer, CVS, MasterCard, Barrick Gold for all you gold bugs out there, Qualcomm in the evening, Paycom, Etsy, Fastly in the evening. And then on Thursday, you got Big Mama. Apple reports after hours on Thursday, along with Coinbase, DraftKings, which should be a big one. I know we've talked about some of the different betting things recently. Bill.com, Expedia. We've got Novo Nordisk and Peloton in the morning. Wayfair, if you care about that. Penn Gambling in the morning. So we have a huge week of earnings coming up here. Every day is going to be a little bit different. Jay, this is a really good mention, and I agree with you. Volatility post earnings is going to be something huge.
Smoke Tuna is mentioning ZVSA. This was one that I had on my list, and it's starting to go right now. They had a publication announcement. This has under 1 million shares in the float, and they just reverse split on Friday. So this has a lot of the boxes checked to be a good mover this morning and maybe throughout the day. Right now, we're trading up to VWAP ahead of the open. So this one could get going as soon as the opening bell rings. Keep this one on your radar.
Yeah, this right up to that VWAP. Great mention here and really good timing there. Smoke Tuna and 13. This popping right up into that VWAP. Okay, you want to start covering IBRX real quick while I go grab my tea?
Sure. I don't think I was looking at
okay, well, then I'm not going to stick you with something that you're not prepared for. All you got to do is say that. IBRX, NIVF, and Hollow. Are any of those on your list? Those are the other three really kind of junkier small caps that we expect to see move here at the beginning.
Yeah, NIVF was on my list, and that's just a relative volume move, another one that we were talking about earlier this morning. They also are a recent IPO. They have 4.475 million shares in the float, so not too difficult to move around. I'll take a look at this IBRX one because I think somebody was mentioning the float shorted, and that is 38.97% of the float is shorted. They have 11.81 days to cover. So that is a pretty good candidate for a short squeeze here. That could be what we're seeing this morning. So IBRX, possible squeeze here. We also have some news that they got a rating. Piper
Sandler maintained their rating, but moved the price target from 5 to 6. So that's why you see this kind of imminent move here. We'll see if this actually has some legs here when the market opens.
20 seconds. Yeah.
And look at that. Timing's pretty good. 20 seconds till we open 13. Let's have a good one. All right. Let's have a good day.
Let's do that. Let's check that box today.
Let's have a good day. I'm actually gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna get ready and flip over to trade the pool early here. We're just gonna get started right away. Ooh. What did I? Why does it look all weird? Let me fix this on the stream here.
All right, let's go. Let's take a look and see what the.
What, dude? Hey, producer Alyssa, can you figure out what these black bars are by chance? Okay, if you can't, but I'm not sure what's going on. Okay. Here we go. Here is PHG, by the way. Again, what we were talking about for a potential trade here, if we get a breakdown from 28 and a retest of 28, and then we continue to break down, we'll go ahead and short that one. I'm seeing IBRX getting called immediately in the chat here. What on earth is going on? Oh, big run for IBRX right there out of the gate.
And ugly night for ZVSA.
And ZVSA. I'll say this. If I were in, I'm not, but if I were in IBRX, I would be selling into this move. By the way, just an update on the trade the pool swings here. That Zim position, obviously we had that huge run last week. That was closed out for a gain after being deep red. Patience there. Now we're starting with a fresh, clean slate. We'll go from there. ZVSA 13, what are we doing?
This one was, let's see, I'm trying to get my bearings on which one we were just talking about. ZVSA, this one was leaking out of the gate after hitting the VWAP that we just talked about. Actually didn't leak. It had a big volume candle with a almost like a knife. But we seem to have found some support at $6. If we continue to go down, I think that 555 would be the next level of support. We're trying to break over this resistance level that I have at 658. We got over that. I think 720 is on deck.
Okay. Really good stuff there, 13. You are, I'll tell you what, Mondays did not slow you down. You are absolutely ready to go here.
And IPF.
Dude, and coffee, let me tell you something. Oh, coffee, that just gets me fired up. Really quickly, Jay mentioning this right out of the gate here. Reddit is going here, so nice little pop right out of the gate here on Reddit.
And IVF also had a nice pop out of the gate as well. Got up to the pre-market high of 216, pulling back now. So 216 would be the level I'm watching, would be expecting to break if we continue with this upside. The looks like we also had some earlier morning highs of 226. So 215, 226, and 240 would be the next upside targets.
And SPY moving here to the upside right out of the gate. 510, 65 your high print here, 67 your high print, new highs. Looks like it's going right above that 510, 50 area. You had said earlier, I think in the pre-show, 512 might have been one of those areas that you're looking for.
Could be. I really don't know how high this is going to end up going. The market can make SPY whatever it wants to be. I think that we're seeing some pretty outsized moves. I still want to see the market come in, do at least 10% correction, but it might take a little bit longer than I'm expecting for that to materialize. So I just have to be patient.
Okay.
IBRX rocketing. Sorry to keep interrupting you.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. IBRX and Reddit rocketing here out of the gate. Reddit 47.5. That's a nice little move out of the gate there. Kingdom Lamb. Good morning, Kingdom Lamb. Also mentioning Mullen here. That did pop out of the gate. Unable to clear that range out here on Mullen. To me, the other stocks that we're taking a look at look like better targets, especially IBRX. Big move there out of the gate on IBRX.
Palantir had a good move out of the gate as well. Got up to 2308, pulling back now.
Hello.
Well, hi there.
Hey, Alyssa.
I'm just saying hi because Sydney said.
Oh, Sid needs to hear Alyssa's voice there. There we go. Alyssa, I will say this. Every time that you pop on, you have a nice little laugh, and it always makes me smile a little bit. So that always helps out in the morning. I appreciate that.
I'm glad.
There we go, folks. We out here trying to help.
IBRX pulling back now off of 921. Coming back down underneath 9 and going down into 8, deeper and deeper.
Donkey Kong, by the way, continuing to trade up there. And Alyssa's getting a lot of highs there. There we go. Okay. IBRX to the moon. You guys are having some big calls here. All right. Let's see on Tesla where we ended up going. Okay, we came down to the VWAP and we bounced.
And IVF moving pretty good.
Becca calling ATLM. I don't have that in trade the pool. Is that actually a ticker? No, I think Becca, check that. I think that's a typo. I don't have that ticker anywhere. What else are you folks taking a look at? Remember Miso? How could we forget Miso halted? How could we forget? Is it halted again? Oh, it is popping here.
Oh, come on, please halt.
Oh, I bet you'd like that, wouldn't you? PHG here. So this bounced off the bottom end of the range. Actually, if this gets rejected here at VWAP, we might have something on PHG for a potential short. ALTM, that's okay, Bex. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. ALTM, that's the lithium company here, Arcadia Lithium. That's popping out of the gate. Don't see any new entry here on this one, but worth watching. Some of those lithium names.
NIVF still trying to push higher. 226, still the pre-market level to get above. It already broke through the 215, 216 level we were talking about. Now it's got to hold VWAP and try to take out 226. So we'll see if that happens. That's NIVF.
Okay. Lynn, I always appreciate this. 13 and I are big proponents of everyone having a financial advisor, even if you are actively trading your own money. Always have a professional looking out for you. We think that's really good advice. So I'm going to highlight comments like this. When any of you folks care to share something about what one of your financial professionals sells, I'll go ahead and highlight this. Consensus with our FA may get some red here and there, but finish 2024 up with growth, stocks, ETF holdings. So it looks like you're thinking maybe more, some volatility along the way, but overall more of the same and market higher at the end of 2024.
Yeah, that's I've been adding more JQUA. I think there's one gentleman here in the chat that knows about that one, likes it a lot. But that's one of the ETFs I've been holding. I like that one.
ZV. Okay, so PHG still kind of setting up here.
Enjoy that steak.
Yeah, so I see. So that might have been the little Wisdom looks like he's joking around with me for the comment earlier. Sorry about that. Anyway, Tesla here actually looks like this came back into the VWAP. This not looking like it's got the strength to break out yet. We'll see if we get a short setup there.
IBRX, watch this one to try to take out 908. There's a lot of sell orders there. And this thing is, it looks like it's one of the strongest stocks, with volume this morning. Some of the other ones we were talking about are leaking. So this one looks like it's got the most strength at the moment. So might be a trade here.
ZVSA, potential little pre-market channel here. This looks like this might be moving over or rolling over a little bit. I beg your pardon. What was the ticker you were just looking at, 13?
That was IBRX.
IBRX.
Yeah, just looking to see if it can take out that 908. See what I'm talking about there with that little wall of sell orders that it might try to take out right here. It just keeps bumping up against it. So we'll see. Eventually it might.
Sam, decent question here. Ryan 13, you guys know why there has not been any decent make money kind of gappers like the last few weeks? So Sam, this type of thing, and I'm assuming you're referring to some of these smaller, junkier names that gap and provide really good trading opportunities. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what you're referring to. This stuff changes all of the time. In fact, scalping some of these things as my main day trading strategy, even that has kind of changed. Like my favorite move is a high of day break where the stock continues because it's easy for me to trade. Well, it changes. Every couple of months, the market sentiment changes, and it seems like that's what's going on again. I would say stay patient because we do see some names here that end up having huge outsized moves shortly after the open. They just don't seem to be as few and far between. They seem to be a little bit more difficult to trade. So hang in there, look for patterns. All is not lost. By the way, while I was babbling there, Reddit looking like it's going to take its next leg higher here as Reddit continues to try and move.
Yeah, it seems like you can kind of gauge how risky traders are willing to perform when you kind of look at that Bitcoin and see how that's been losing its appeal over the last week or so. Still think we might get some downside in Bitcoin. I just think that's just one indicator that risk is a bit off right now. So that continuation that we're referring to, we're not going to see that as much. And I agree. I noticed that as well. So, just got to be patient, wait for the risk sentiment to come back in, and just got to be a little bit more careful when trading these junky names. Maybe take profits earlier, not get back in them for a rebound. Kind of adjust your strategy around some of these things. But for me, that's in line with what I've been doing. Just got to be a little bit more careful, a bit more patient with some of these junkier names today.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And, we talk a lot about why we even trade some of these names, them being junky to begin with. Keep in mind, we're trading high risk stuff. Like we talk about that all the time. Jay Rice reminds us all the time. Stocks that we're trading don't really have fundamentals underlying them. So if you get it wrong on the Mo, you might take an L on the trade. That happens. Semi's getting faded, says Jay. Qs, anything tech related, really pulling in, leading the pullback more so than the S&P and the Dow. Also, really quick here, Carlos was mentioning ticker POW, and then question mark, nothing else there. Carlos, I'd have no idea what you're trying to ask here, but because POW is actually a stock that I'm holding, I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about this. This is ammo.com, and this is a long-term hold, especially for 2024. I think we see a lot of unrest this summer with this crazy election coming up. 13, I saw that you said, wow, it almost fell out of your chair. What are you looking at?
IBRX. We were looking for that break over that. I think it was like 928. I was saying, watch for that break when we take out that wall of sell orders. Well, we took it out and we ran all the way up to 980. The next level I have is, well, I guess it's 10.
And I see some size here at 980, but it's totally possible that gets hit right here. They're on it. I saw Prince there. I see more size above at 985 on IBRX. Wow, big move out of the gate here.
So now to illustrate the point that I was just talking about, where we're not in the greatest tape to continue with these big runners. I would have sold completely out of this run here. Now this looks like it could continue to go higher, especially with some of these EMAs crossing. But this move here was a little bit more outsized than I would have originally planned for. So the fact that we got all the way up almost to $10 and are starting to kind of question whether or not we're pulling back or not, I would have been out of this. Thank you for the profit and looked for another setup or waited for this one to set up another trade.
Lynn Williams also mentioning that was squawked here, IBRX. That's what happens too, by the way. For any of you that are still on the fence about Benzinga Pro, I'm not really sure why. Try it out, because even during the trial that doesn't require a credit card, you can still try the squawk. Squawk will often bring stocks like this to a trader's screen that might not be watching it already. And that might kind of help accentuate the move. By the way, while 13 was breaking down IBRX like a fraction, I went ahead and took entry here on ticker PHG. Looks like we really kind of struggled at that VWAP, and it looks like we're going to roll back over here. So giddy up, ticker PHG. We are short here, starting position. If we break through 28 to the downside, which is only 50 cents away, we would consider adding to the short position, and then we would close this on any type of big flush or big move into profit. So PHG, first trade of the week here. We are short, looking for a breakdown through 28.
Yeah, and IBRX still really interesting. We're getting a lot of sell orders coming in at that 975 area. Don't know if they're going to be able, if the bears are going to be able to push the bulls down, or if the bulls are just going to take out this wall here that it just created. Getting a pretty big fight here, but like I said, I just would be waiting for this to set up. It could break out, go to 10, maybe higher, but I just don't know at the moment right now. I think I just want to wait for the setup to kind of present itself before going higher. Well, it looks like I might take it out here. It just took out a big sell order, but I'm not convinced. I want to see this setup.
Yeah, it's doing a decent job consolidating here. I'm with you, 13. I think we either need a volume spike to really take it out of this range, maybe some consolidation to kind of pent up some of that energy, and then we can break in either direction here. So I'm with you on that one. And by the way, there was also something, there's a lot going on. We didn't think we were going to have that busy of a morning here, but there's a lot going on. There was a comment here from Jay Rice earlier that I skipped over. And I actually want to cover it here real quick, because this is something that is interesting to me.
There it goes, going higher now.
Which on IBRX, there we
IBRX,
go. Got it on screen. I still got it on screen. Yeah, we're good. Just wanted to make sure I didn't screw it up here.
And then also the SPY is really, really coming down hard right now. We also have a mention from the Crow ZVSA.
Our short seems to be working. I can't find Jay's comment here. I'm going to keep looking. And if I can't find it, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it. And then Jay, I'm sure, will repost it.
Rustam, I don't know if it is. I mean, it had a nice pop in the morning before the open, so it might take a little bit before it turns around and tries to get back up to that level. The volume in this one isn't great, so this might be one that you just have to wait for it to start to pick up again. I don't know when this turns around and starts moving again.
IBRX 10 prints here looking pretty good. PHG continuing to move to the downside. Our short looking pretty good there. The comment that I wanted to highlight, Jay, you had mentioned that Viking River Cruises is set to IPO this week, right? Viking River Cruises. I think that you said the ticker was VIK, but I could not find the post that you made. I've thought about this. This to me is interesting. First of all, as far as cruises go, any cruise ship that does not allow kids is going to be a friend of mine. And that is exactly what these Viking River Cruises are. The other thing is, and I've had a friend that cruises quite a bit, said he went on his first one and said it was absolutely spectacular, pretty much immediately booked the next one, and did not even consider other companies. To me, this entire thing is a little bit more interesting than RCL and CCL. So I'm interested in that IPO, Jay.
NIVF.
Viking Holdings Ltd, ticker VIK. Thank you, Webcoin.
Sorry about that. NIVF has got a bit of a bull flag formation happening here. Just looking to see if it's going to try to take out the intraday high it made out of the open at 223. I have 240 as an upside target here. It also had, this is also the one that had the 226 pre-market high that it hasn't got up to yet.
Reds, thanks for joining us here today. Reds, we are not financial advisors, and as such, we cannot give you financial advice, nor can we tell you when to buy or sell your positions. That is risk that you need to take on. What we can do is we can tell you what we think about the chart, what it looks like, and then show you what we're doing here. But unfortunately, my man, we cannot advise you one way or another. Buzz saying VIK on May 1st. Okay, so that's this week. Indeed, that's going to be Wednesday. So it looks like that IPO on Wednesday. I'm interested in that one. In fact, I'm going to bring that up for happy hour tonight, 13.
All right. IBRX continuing to push and push and push up to 1047 now.
So what was that question we were getting earlier about some of these junkier names not providing big runs? Looks like we're getting one here today. This is what I mean about just kind of being patient. We'll identify them eventually. Yeah,
but I would have already been out of this right now. This 50-cent move that it just had, I would not have participated in because I would have been out of it. So that would have been my mistake. But at the same time, that's just because in this tape that we're in, I wouldn't want to stick around for the third candle after these first two moves.
Bernhard saying, did Budapest to Amsterdam on Viking, and it was awesome. See, dude, I can't even imagine how great that vacation was. So here we go. The theme so far here today, and by the way, real quickly here, going to add 50 shares short to my PHG trade as that is working. We'll see if that continues. We're now 150 shares short PHG. Really want to see a break of 28 to the downside. Anyway, to get back to the comment here, what I see so far to say, I'm beaten down names are getting bought. Tesla, Roku, Arc, Apple versus Microsoft, Google, and NVIDIA. We'll see if that holds up here today or if that stops. Yeah, so Lynn here mentioning that your worry here about the boats is that you wouldn't want to be caught on one of those boats in this world of political instability. Look, I can completely understand this. I wouldn't want to go on a cruise either. There are plenty of other vacations that I would take before taking a cruise. I'm with you on that. I totally get it. Still interested in the IPO.
NIVF and IBRX now starting to really turn red here. IBRX could find support at VWAP, but
as soon as you mentioned that, NIVF started to pull a knife away from the VWAP. Look at this, right down to that pre-market support level 13. It's almost as if you caused that. I'm not going to lie.
I'll be your lightning rod of fate, sure.
No, I didn't want that.
I know.
Way to make me have remorse as soon as I said it.
Oh no, I'm just having fun. But NIVF, yeah, that one couldn't get back above its VWAP, right down to this 195 level that I had, kind of down where it was consolidating quite a bit in pre-market. If we recover from here, great. If not, if we break down from 195, I'd have 188 as another level beneath it.
ZVSA looks like this came off the bottom end of the range there, did not break down through it.
Yeah.
PHG popping now. Interesting. So My trade's now in the red. What I will say here is that if we get up to VWAP or close to VWAP, I would probably consider reshorting another 50 here. And then if we continue to push through and away from VWAP, I'd close the trade for an L here. But what I'm trying to do is better my pricing by shorting this at resistance areas. So we're down just a little bit here. We'll see if this ends up holding. We've already done one ad here. Okay, let's take a look at Tesla, because that was another one that we were looking to short there real quick. Tesla, this is still just kind of chopping around, doing a fairly good job holding its gains here this morning, especially with the market really kind of moving down. Qs here moving down the most, by the way.
Wisdom asking us about what we think about Rum as a future leader. Is this just another social? I don't know much about Rum.
That's Rumble, right? I think that's Rumble.
It is. Don't know how much about this is. I understand it's a video sharing platform. I don't know what kind of subscribership it has. I don't know what other companies it's trying to directly compete with. I'd imagine some of these other social media companies. I don't have a whole lot on this, but if TikTok has to be banned or it has to divest, maybe this moves on that. I really couldn't tell you. I don't know enough about this to really give you a good opinion on it. But that would be where I would start. And
here's the thing that I would say, just kind of generally about the thesis. First of all, I love the idea of having more platforms to compete effectively with YouTube, so that censorship really kind of can't be a thing. I think most people are smart enough to realize that when there's too much censorship, they're going to go somewhere else. No matter what the opinion is, just to kind of see some of the other side. I understand that. I'm just not sure I'm comfortable picking one or the other over someone that's going to supplant something like YouTube. So your initial question here, what's the future of this? I could see it being a part of it, but I don't have enough information to say, yeah, they've got something here that's really going to upset the apple cart and make this an industry leader. I don't feel confident about that.
And I know we've been getting some mentions for DJT this morning. So I think if we, continue to see upside like we have so far this morning, 45, just like, the last president, I think that's going to be the price target that they're trying to go for today. Whether or not we go higher than that or tick a top ticket and then sell off, don't know if that's going to happen or not. But I think 45 is the number that they're going for this morning.
That's ticker DJT here. So we'll see what DJT ends up doing here. Juan saying, personally, I don't think they can ban TikTok. It's unconstitutional. It'll get bought out, if anything. They definitely can. The unconstitutionality part of it, I disagree with that. I think that's one of the things that the CCP is trying to say. Reality is if you incorporate some type of backdoor or potential spy software or spy access into your software, it is not unconstitutional to ban it. However, your other point there about it being acquired, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think TikTok is one of those things that's so popular, they're going to try and find a way to keep it going, but I don't know what that looks like yet.
Looks like we got another push from IBRX, trying to go above 10 here. Oh, don't worry, Lynn, Randy. We know exactly what you mean. I wish it was still DWAC too.
IBRX, this did kind of pull back kind of towards that VWAP. Didn't quite get there, but towards it. Now it's bouncing here.
I see a lot of folks mentioning how TikTok has been banned in other countries. I'd be curious to find a country where TikTok isn't banned yet, except the United States. I think that there's more and more countries that are banning that. Even China bans it. I mean, what does that tell you?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, speaking of China and how they ban all of our social media, we didn't even get into this. I do want to address this question here, a little bit of a change of gears, but 13, I think this question's money. Elon's asking at Ryan, with techs hitting major resistance, do you think money moving back to value like AT&T a potential swing? I bought it at 16. Couple of things here. Number one, if tech has any type of continued pullback and it really kind of has this market reset some of the pricing on some of these different stocks, then yes, I think value and fundamentals are going to really come back. The other thing here about AT&T is, remember, this company pays a dividend. They, I believe, cut their dividend in half. They're trying to restore how much they're going to pay on their dividends. So this has been a long-term longtime dividend play. My family has been involved in this. So as far as dividend play 13, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm pretty sure that you own this for its dividend at some point.
I've owned AT&T for a long time, and
Yeah.
specifically for its dividend, and I continued to hold it even through the dividend cut because it's still a very good dividend. Now, the point to the question of if they're moving back to value, I would think that could be something they might do, but here's where I don't think that's going to be as big of a move as I might one might think. Interest rates are still very high. So usually when we're kind of rotating out of stocks, it's going to be into more fixed income, things that are going to give you that high fixed rate of return. And since we have that high rate right now, I think that's where you might see a lot of the money end up going to. As far as value names, maybe getting ahead of the value name movement, that could be a possibility with if you start to see rotation into value names. But if the value names aren't producing dividends or that are better than the fixed income, then I don't think that they'll get out of fixed income to go into the value names. I think they'll just stay in fixed income. And I don't think we're going to see small caps really resurge until we get more of a talk on interest rate cuts. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think I don't know about if value is completely the direction to go right now. I still think it might be fixed income because of how rates are so high.
Really, really good answer there. Elon, great question here. This is more of I know you gave a specific example with AT&T, but there's actual more of a conceptual basis behind this question as well that I really, really like. I'd really like Jay, not to call you out again here, but I'd really like to get your opinion on this. I know you're a very active trader and your goal is to just destroy whatever the S&P does. You'd look to absolutely destroy that in your own portfolio. But I'm curious as to what you think about dividend stocks and if there's a place in a long-term portfolio for you.
Jay's been absolutely correct with TMUS being so much better. It has 100% been a better stock lately.
And literally, as I was saying that, Jay went ahead and gave us something here. T, it's been a dog for years. The only thing I pay monthly that isn't going up because of inflation is my cell phone bill. TMUS has been so much better. So no comment there on the dividend, but giving you another player in the communications sector that has been a better outperformer. This is what I was talking about Jay being a trader. He's going to look for those stock price gains probably as a primary objective. Don't want to speak for you there, Jay, just kind of peeling back the layers there. Stay focused. Good morning. Hey, guys, when do you guys estimate Google will announce the dividend X date? Gosh, that was not a question that I was prepared for at all today. I don't know. Let me see if I can gain any information here from the calendar in Benzinga Pro. By the way, while we were talking there, ZVSA looked like it was trying to curl and move through the VWAP, was flat out rejected and moving lower here. PHG, the active short that I have on, this looked like it was trying to kind of trade back up and was met with some more downside. So we're really, really close to this 28 flush here. Would love to get that. We'll see on that one. Okay,
I would think to answer that question, stay focused about when they announce their dividend. I mean, it's kind of a smart ass answer in my opinion, but likely before the end of the quarter, maybe June. I really couldn't tell you, but I'm just guessing right now. They report earnings again on July 23rd. It's unconfirmed. So I would just think well before then, but probably before the end of the quarter. So my guess would be sometime in June. That's just a guess, though.
Yeah, and courtesy of Benzinga Pro here in the dividend calendar, I have their next dividend X date as June 10th. So that is 6/10/2024. Stay focused. I almost wonder if you found different information showing that is not confirmed. This might be an estimate based on prior dividend X dates. That could be a possibility. But so far, I'm seeing here June 10th, 6/10/2024, X date. Ex-div date, for Google. By the way, Mullen popped into its VWAP here and looks like it's getting rejected so far. It does not have the strength to get through that, at least not yet.
DJT still pushing up. It's about 75 cents away from 45.
NIVF here. Holding on to 2. That's looking pretty decent. Bitcoin really kind of rolled over from 63,000 on that futures chart all the way down to 62.2, is bouncing there. So almost 1,000-point move there in a very short order. Oh, you wanted to, stay focused. You wanted to make sure that the ex-div date and pro was correct. Well, I'll tell you what, let me see if I can get you some more clarity on that. And you know what, stay focused. We might be discovering a new feature that we might have to add to pro here. If the ex-dividend date is not confirmed and being projected, maybe we should tell you that that's the case. Let me investigate for you. Really good stuff.
One thing to watch for when with that, at least I'll be watching for it with Google when they do that dividend, when they actually pay it out, look for the stock to drop, either that day or the day after, because that's cash leaving the company, and that's probably also traders leaving the company after they got their dividend, or it'd probably be after the ex-div date. So just watch for those 2 dates, the payout and the ex-div date. PLTR bouncing off the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. IBRX trying to get support from VWAP, might not get it here. It looks like it's starting to curl over here. If it can hold VWAP, then it's going to try to take another punch at $10.
Okay. HWH getting mentioned by a number of people here in the chat. HWH starting to push away from its VWAP, took out the intraday highs, moving towards the pre-market highs. Actually, it tested that right here at 240. Have a little bit of size there, but really not much. This could easily go here if this gets broken.
Yeah, that was, let's see, that was tested. This level was tested 3 times in pre-market, and it was a triple top that failed. Now we're coming back up. It broke through briefly on this candle here on the 5-minute chart at 240. Now we're coming back in. We're looking for VWAP to hold it and take it higher. I don't have levels in this one. Otherwise, I'd tell you what my next upside target is in HWH.
Real quick here. Love this comment. Always interesting in the always interested in stuff like this. Benzinga should also have a corporate buyback and blackout calendar. This is interesting stuff, Seekin. You know what? If you could do me a huge favor, do you know if this exists already? Because let me just kind of pull the curtain back. What we would need in order to accomplish this is we would need to acquire this data, and then we would need to pay for that data if it is in fact something we have to pay for if we don't already get it. And then we have to design a front end and make sure it works with the back end. So just kind of giving you some of the technicals there. Maybe you don't care about it. A lot of work in doing what you're doing, but if there are examples or if there are places where I can start looking at the data, that might help speed it up. If you know of anything like that, shoot me an email. If you need my email, again, let me know. But I feel like I've posted it so many times in here. Here we go, folks. We are right here. Let's see. PHG is right at this $28. Remember, we wanted to see 28 fall here. We do have one ad already. This is definitely a support area. So as far as like the trading process and strategy goes here, probably not a bad idea to lighten some of that position right at that level. You can see we've actually already, just in the time of me bringing this ticker up, we've bounced 15 cents right off that round number, literally tested it and bounced just like that. So it might be a good idea to take some of those gains. I'm still in the position here, and we'll see if we can actually break down from 28. What I'd like is a 28 breakdown and then sell into the flush. Sorry, 13.
No, it's great call on AGBA, and then also we're getting mentions that ZVSA knifed down and is in a halt.
That is confirmed here. ZVSA halted. Thank you, Benzinga Pro. This did break its 580 range. Boy, it did that with the quickness, didn't it? Didn't even give us any type of retest. It just straight up broke it.
So here's what I'm looking for with ZVSA when we unhalt. There's a pretty good amount of consolidation here around the 490 to $5 area. You can see that in the after hours from Friday. Also, earlier on in the day on Friday, we also were pretty much trading sideways. So this whole sideways price action that we've had from basically the open of Friday until pre-market today, that's going to be a demand zone that I would expect ZVSA to find some support at. So let's call it 475 that it starts to slow down, maybe even find a bottom.
Okay, good stuff there, 13. Just kind of flipping around on some of these other things. Let's take a look at some of the other stocks that are on the scanner here. Here's Hollow.
IBRX might be, sorry, I might be turning around. Go ahead.
All good. Hollow looks like this might be curling up here. Excuse me. Here is your IBRX. You're right. It is bouncing here. Let's see if it reclaims that VWAP. That would be a step in turning around, wouldn't you say?
Well, I'm just saying it looks like it might be doing that. It also looks like the MACD is still in the process of kind of rolling over. So just kind of watching this one to see if we get that rebound. But it needs to get back over the VWAP, and it hasn't done that yet. NIVF trying to push through its VWAP. It's actually over it now. This
Indeed.
one could get going as well. So NIVF might also, if this starts to get some expanding volume, this one could shoot up to 240. DJT is still trying to get to 45.
JK here giving us some levels here on HWH. You've got 245 and 257. This 240 level we currently broke out here. 245 is absolutely the intraday high, and there's some size there, so you're totally right about that one. 257, I don't see anything here, but I might just be on the wrong time frame. You might be absolutely right about that. Let's see. Was it the? Oh, by the way, real quick there, we just got what I was looking for. PHG. Sorry for flipping around here. PHD did break 28 there temporarily. I saw prints in the 27 handle. That's what I wanted to see here. We didn't get a flush after we broke that, unfortunately. Would like to have seen a bigger down move here to kind of close or cover this trade up and book those gains. We'll see if we have another move to the downside here through 28.
Yeah, I think you'll get your flush. Yeah, 28. That does look like it's the big level to get to
Yes,
break
sir.
down from. So 28, we get we really okay. It might happen
There it
right
is.
here.
Here it is. Let's see if we get it. Let's see if we get the breakdown. I will say that 28 level, they've been filling it with stock. So clearly there's somebody in here buying it.
I mean, this looks like it could, fall $3 from here if this breaks down.
I mean, my goodness, if this falls $3 from here, we'll really have something on our hands. But I'm not even looking for that kind of move. I mean, a flush down to 2750 handle is going to be good enough. But hey, I mean, giddy up. Give me the $3 move. Give me the $3 move down, 13.
Well, because when I look at how it kind of gapped up this morning, and we're right at that 28 level, that looks like it's the last level before we start to enter that gap. So I would think that we start to get some really big selling volume beneath 28.
Yeah, the one thing, just like we talk about on the upside here with the buying volume, when it looks like there's a whole bunch of people trying to drive the stock lower and a whole bunch of people trying to sell it, sometimes the buying volume just overpowers that. The same thing can happen here, right? So if they really kind of sell this down to that 28 handle and they keep buying it up, they could bounce it from here. Here we go, though. We've had multiple tests at this 28. I definitely want to see this resolve before I make a decision on what we're going to do with the trade. Good news here is that the trade's in the green, so it's actually easier to manage this one. Still cannot get through that 28 there. This bounce looking pretty good here, PGH.
CVSA is open.
Checking it out.
And DJT almost at 45. It just got up to 44.83, so 17 cents away.
That's going for 45, right? I mean, DJT
I'm
to
pretty
45,
sure it will.
that seems just written in the cards already. AGBA, you guys are talking about. TSVT, I feel like we've looked at that one before. That's been another kind of a smaller mover. Yeah, here we go. 270 bid or 270 bio, excuse me. BA, good military news on Boeing, ticker BA here.
Good, because that's about the most positive side of their business right now. Their commercial business ain't doing too good.
I'm happy to announce that all of the planes I took during this trip
Landed.
They've landed. They didn't come apart in the air. I don't think they were Boeing.
Yeah, so DJT definitely 45. It ripped right through it. Now it's at 45, and just it ticked up to 45.
Wow.
58.
Jay mentioning that Snap went green here. This is actually a pretty strong reversal. Remember, Snap, we kind of gapped into the middle excuse me, let me make sure I say this correctly. Off that recent report, we gapped into a previous gap, and we're pretty much in the middle of that range here. So if Snap really kind of breaks out from here, I've got the top of that spot here. Let me get it for you. Snap breaks out from 15 here. Maybe we have an attempt to fill this gap up towards almost 17.
I'm looking at IBRX and NIVF for them to. Well, I'm looking for IBRX to reverse from this downward movement that it's having. It's beneath the VWAP right now. Still looks like it's it's still curling over. MACD looks like it's we're gonna see some lower prints here, but I'm just we're waiting for this to kind of slow down and start to curl back up. So just keeping an eye on IBRX. NIVF, this one is above my VWAP anyway. I'm just looking for it to continue to hold so it can push up and try to take out the intraday high of 223 and the pre-market high of 226.
Real quickly here, Nicholas, no flaming engines equals a good trip. Yes, that's correct. Generally speaking, this is a good rule of thumb. That's what I experienced here. Axel saying every plane will land. The question is how it lands. Well said. Glad mine landed nice and smoothly. Jane saying, Ryan, that's good to know. Yeah, it's good that I made it back safe, Jane. I completely concur with you. Apple ran to 176. Apple, that was an interesting one here today. Tech really kind of sold off. Apple was just kind of shook that off. It didn't really care. By the way, here we go. PHG. We broke that 28, but we've only done it by 4 cents here. Really, here we go. Let's get a move lower here. PGH. Let's get that move lower. This is what we were looking for. This is what we were looking for. Ticker PGH. This short is working. You love to see it here on a Monday.
Yeah, just looking at those other names I mentioned. Wait for the price action I'm anticipating to happen. AGBA with a humongous knife.
Oh, look at this knife. Well, I'll tell you what, I am glad I'm not trading that to the long side here today. Oh my goodness. Who sneezed? Who blew this one off to wherever it was? Who's responsible for this? I'm joking around here.
Yeah, I know.
Here. PHG, man, lower we go.
That is just an incredible knife, taking out so much price action over the past couple of days.
A B Riley looking like this is trying to go higher here. Might have a 40 break on B Riley, ticker RILY. You know what? 13. This is another one I think we should talk about on Happy Hour. I know we have a pretty sharp group that knows a number of things or has experiences with B Riley. Maybe we can get some more information about that. Adding that to my list here. I kind of just want to ask the group about it. I don't really have a whole lot. Also, a relative volume scanner here, seeing Viking Therapeutics calls, that's ticker VKTX, seeing those calls getting active here. The Monday 100s are active, which is saying something. Those are $1. Monday 100s, interesting.
If Stay Focused is still in the chat, maybe we could kind of get a preview with Happy Hour and kind of ask him what he thinks about Riley, or at least get him kind of, teed up for it.
Yeah, Stay Focused. If you're still out there, if you have any experience, let us know. Jay, I would say the same thing. You might have experience with B Riley. If let's just throw out a general call here. If any of you have some experience with B Riley, let me know what you think. Here we go. Carmen already answering the bell. By the way, I'm glad to have my soundboard back. On Riley, it's been on the likely to squeeze list I subscribed to for months. Highly shorted for a very long time. The good news PR finally set it off. Indeed. And actually, the day that was happening, I believe Jay was mentioning how high the short interest was there. So you're exactly right. Good stuff there.
Yeah, I just don't know how high this is going to squeeze to. Let me just take a look at a daily chart here, because we could probably set some levels, but we've already blasted through the 200 and 500 day SMAs. I think if we, just kind of hold this area up, between 39 and 40, that'd be good for the upside. Let's look at some potential levels where we could see this movement slow down. Right now, it seems like 42 could be one of those levels. Then there's multiple levels on the way up from there too, all the way up to 53, 55. And we're also pretty overextended here on the RSI. We might see some pullback here as well. So the daily RSI is at 81. I think that we would come back in a bit here, maybe consolidate a bit before we start moving up again. But to continue to squeeze and push, that would mean that whenever we do stop trading up, that the fall would be even more volatile.
Okay, really good stuff. Roostom looking like you're bagging a huge gain here on AGBA. Roostom saying I'm up 538% since I mentioned AGBA. You must have been holding this for a long time. Good stuff, though. This was a penny stock that is no longer a penny stock. Roostom dancing on the table. Okay, let's check this out. Some impressive dip by. So we talked earlier about the Qs really kind of flushing. We actually took a look at that here. The Qs here, NASDAQ up off its lows here, bouncing pretty good. Jay mentioning some impressive dip buying going on in SMCI, A-Lab. We'll also check NVIDIA. Here is SMCI. We've got a 30-point move already intraday off the bottom here. You're right, Jay. That's pretty impressive. A-Lab looks the same. Does NVIDIA look the same? It does. NVIDIA also getting bought up off the bottom. Interestingly enough, Apple, which was strong all day, down from the highs, but hasn't lost its VWAP yet. Tech dip so far getting bought here. SPY currently at 510. We talked about 512. Was that the level that you had, 13? The upside level on? Well, I just forgot what the number was.
Oh, for SPY?
Yeah.
That was one of the bigger levels. Yeah, that was actually was the next level above I'll bring up my SPY because I've had multiple levels, and I'll just tell you which one I was looking at. So yeah, 512 was the one after 508.50. So
okay,
yeah,
and so that's the one. So 508.50. I don't necessarily. Let me show you what I'm thinking what I'm thinking about here. I don't actually think we tested that 508.50. We did have some candles lower here in the pre-market that went to around that area, but 13, I think we're just kind of bouncing around in that range. We'll see if either end of these ranges ends up getting taken out. PHG, our short is cooking here, so we've kind of broken beneath this. At some point, we have to look for a potential close here, or at least closing partial. One of the things that I had said earlier is I'd like to cover this short up 27.50. We're only, 20-some cents away from that. That would be awesome. Here we go as we continue to move lower here in PHG. Love to close this short here. Book the first trade of the week in the green. That's always a good sign. Always a good sign.
Great job on that short, man.
Yeah, that was this one worked. This one, we had a nice little setup. We were prepared for the morning. We got the action we were looking for. It's actually not been too fast. So it's actually been fairly easy to capture here. So pretty good. Right. You know what, 13?
Because of that 881 million share float. That's why it's not moving fast.
So yeah, that's right. But what we're going to do now, we are going to go ahead and do what we talk about all the time. We are going to set a stop. Where did I put it? We are going to set a stop so that we definitely book these gains. We are not going to lose these gains. Okay, so I have my stop set 27.90 here. So we will book gains. It looks like we might bounce back up right here.
Is really starting to come down now. It got as high as 45.76. And now we're coming back down to some of these shorter time frame EMAs and VWAP.
DJT, a pullback to the VWAP would actually be quite good here.
I'm not seeing a whole lot of things setting up right now. A lot more red than green. Might have to wait a little bit and sit on my hands before I trade anything else, just to see some things set up. Because right now, nothing's looking too good.
No, and I'm with you on that, 13. I don't see any great new setups here.
Yeah, even Christopher C is waiting for PHG. I think anybody else seeing any setups? Because I think right now we're just kind of waiting for things to set up here.
Christoph, I like this. Obviously, as I pull my chart up here, you can clearly, I don't have this. So Christoph saying, I'm waiting for PHG to come to 26.78. Okay, that's another $1 almost from where we're at right now. for a 50% Fibonacci rebound. Okay, so you're basically measuring this move and saying the 50% rebound level is likely to happen at 26.78. So that would be a profit target, assuming that you're in this short. Awesome. Love that process there. I think that sounds pretty good.
Elon saying due to rotation, SPY doing better than EQ, which looks like curling down. You're right. I think that we're seeing a lot more more rotation into the same Mag 7. Like we just had huge earnings last week with Google and Microsoft. Guess which ones are down the most today? Google and Microsoft. They rotated into Tesla on that news and Apple on that weakness. So it's just a lot of trading between these names that we're seeing. I absolutely agree with that. And we're seeing maybe some rotation into some other names as well that aren't the Mag 7. But for the most part, it does look like it's just a big rotation among the Mag 7s for the time being.
SMCI here went green. So Jay highlighting that bounce earlier here. Jay and Carmen discussing SMCI here for those of you that are interested. SMCI's bounce, definitely impressive. I'm with Jay on that. We went green here today.
Getting some notice about some really old girlfriends coming back. Swedes mentioning OCEA.
Really quickly, ENPH here being brought up. ENPH is below several important moving averages. I've got it below the 50, the 100, the 20, and the 200. That 200 being the highest one there, 119 on ENPH. Current price here, 112. ENPH really needs to kind of buck this trend. Now we're seeing lower highs on the daily. And until that breaks here, especially with rates being high, solar names here, I'm thinking some of these lower here. So Eric, I know that you were asking about ENPH here. That's basically what I'm looking at here. Unless the chart really kind of invalidates the downtrend that we're currently in, the interest rate environment not conducive to solar names, ENPH lower unless we have a catalyst otherwise. 13, did I run you over there on one of those?
No, I was just going to acknowledge what Market Sniper was saying. MTC trying to break the 365 resistance. I see what he's saying. It popped up to 369 and came right back in. So we didn't get a close over that level. And it looks like we might start to leak a little bit here. We have the MACD on the 5-minute chart showing it's starting to roll over a bit. RSI slightly extended, but not too bad. If it can't hold VWAP, then I think we start to come back down into maybe the 330 area and for the next level of support. So that's what I'd be eyeing in MTC for downside support, the VWAP and 330.
All right. And a really quick update. We have now reached my initial target. Remember, I said PHG on the downside. I'd love for this to go to 2750. Here we are, 2748 printed. So we got that spot that we were looking for. And look at this. Lo and behold, the stock bouncing here, 18 cents so far off that level. Here's what we're going to do, folks. We're gonna get this. We're gonna do this even smarter, right? We're gonna try and stay in this, but I'm gonna lower my stop again. So I'm gonna cover this trade up 27.75. If it keeps bouncing, that's gonna lock those gains in. Otherwise, we're gonna wait and see if this rolls lower here. If this takes another leg down, the strategy then is gonna be to move the stop down again, thereby locking in even more gains. I'll tell you what, doesn't always work like this. I know this is kind of smaller size here. Would love to have 1,000 shares on for this. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. But so far, this plan working out wonderfully here this morning. We'll keep adjusting this as we go. Got another 45 minutes here. Excuse me. Another 37 minutes here for our show. So we will continue to monitor this. 13, if there's anything that you got going on, happy to bring that up.
I just was looking at what Jay Rice is mentioning. SoFi heard that more than half of profit was one-time positive charge, ugly reaction. Yeah, I see that reaction he's talking about on the daily chart here. If that's true, because they just had their Q1 earnings today, that I don't even know if I'd want to even look at this stock. I mean, what is that one-time charge from? Getting student loan payments covered? I really couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. Is that any type of forgiveness, one-time write-off? I wonder. Real quickly here, we can go back to it. I definitely spoke to mentioning CAUD for you penny players. I don't really play the pennies here, but we're not going to totally discriminate. This one does look like it's about to break out here. Just in fairness. Easy for me to say. SOFI, we will say if this can come back and kind of reclaim that VWAP, that would be interesting.
Yeah, just kind of trying to look around here for some things that look good.
Ooh.
And the setups that I'm seeing, like they look like they're getting ready to go, and then they just kind of fall apart. So I'm still kind of just not so much sitting on my hands, but just kind of keeping them ready. Like, and just,
so
I just don't see anything that I want to trade right now.
Yeah, you know, and I'm kind of struggling with the same thing in terms of new setups. 13. What I was just taking a look at here is Tesla, though. Tesla here really, we've tried to get above its VWAP twice and we've lost it. And so if this continues to move down, maybe if it breaks this 183 level, what do we have here? What is that? That's 184.5. Maybe if it breaks that 184.5 level, we could get another potential short setup here on Tesla. We'll see. 13, I'm with you, though. Overall, not seeing a whole lot of new setups here. Glad I'm in something that's working.
Jay Rice clarified it for us. It wasn't, from anything we were talking about. It was from a convertible bond retired.
Okay. Thank you, Jay.
SOFI. Yeah.
Thank you, Jay. Okay. Thanks, Jay.
So as far as Tesla goes, hey, 180 has been a really, really big level for the stock in the past, in my opinion. So I think 180 would need to provide support. But I still, as far as upside goes, I still think that when we were talking before the show here, that 194, or maybe it was even during the show, 194 looks like the upside level that I kind of would imagine we don't go any higher than. So we'll see if that's what happens. It's kind of trading between the two right now. ZVSA, not really liking the way that's looking, so still not a trade there for me. PHG might be curling, but I don't know about this one. This has a large float, so you might not get the momentum that you're looking for with that.
Sorry, let me go back here. I was actually doing stuff for work here. What were you mentioning on PHG? We might get stopped out. We might get booked here.
Yeah.
Remember my stop loss here, which would not stop a loss. It would actually close the trade for a gain here, is at 27.75. The current price pushed up to 27.72 before moving lower here. We'll see on PHG if we close this for a gain or if we have some more downside here.
Is today just a scalping day, possibly? I mean, yeah, if that's really all that's kind of being presented to you, because that looks like what it could end up being, is just to scalp the pops that we get. It's also a little bit safer to do that as well if we're going to be trading anything, because then
stopped out of PHG right there. So we booked PHG for a gain here. There we go. This was what I like the most about this is that the process was as evident as it gets here. This was very, very slow and methodical. There was no stress at all at any part of the trade. Even when the trade was red, we had a very, very systemized process for this. This is exactly how I want to start out the week. So 1 for 1 on the day, 1 for 1 on the week. Let's look for the next target.
Sounds good. And it looks like IBRX might be curling back up. So let's see if it can retake VWAP, which I currently have at 940 on my broker.
Brett says, Ryan buying breakfast today. Actually, Ryan, it does not eat breakfast. Ryan fasts from the night before right up until lunch every single day during the week. So no breakfast for me. Coffee is my
IBRX. Here we go. Sorry to interrupt you, but
no, you're good. So that 930 area, we went right through 930, right to that VWAP. Now let's see if we can take that out. I've got 941 as the VWAP on Trade the Pool here. Let's see if they hold 930. I actually see some size brought in on a bid at 930 here. So now that we come back, let's see if we hold that.
950 is the next big sell area that I have here. That's where a lot of orders are kind of hiding out at. And that was the previous support level. So that could break. We just need to get a little bit more momentum. But that's a pretty good level there. I can see that you can see in the morning when we traded up and we kind of started leaking. That's where the support was until we finally fell through at about was it 10 o'clock? Now we're moving through my VWAP, looking good. So 950. Oh, that wall is gone now. So we could end up moving up higher if we get
I don't see it either. This is a really good call here on this curl. Whoever this was, I know 13, you were on this, but whoever else was involved in this was great. You guys really spotted that. Perfect timing.
DJT back above 45. Looks like it's trying to, well, if it can start to close above 45 on a 5-minute chart, then I'd say that 46.75 is more.
Oh my God, Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin, that sell-off from earlier completely bought back. Bitcoin is green here. Bitcoin's chart kind of looks like Mara, although Mara is still lower. Bitcoin actually went higher. Bitcoin, 63,300 on the futures price. It, again, completely bought that sell-off back, plus it went higher. STTK here, Shattuck Labs, looking like this is kind of taking the next leg up here. Small volume here on Shattuck.
That was a nice little move with IBRX. That move is slowed down now, trying to hold above VWAP. If it does hold, then I think it might want to try to go for 10. Currently see large sell order sellers at 956 and 961. Excuse me. Looks like PLTR is trying to get back up there. Sorry, I think I just ran you over.
Nope, you didn't. I was actually setting this up because I noticed it from another chart here. Tesla, we might have the makings of a short setup here on Tesla.
Oh, all right.
It's really kind of flirting with its intraday low here. I know that this is up on the news here from this morning. It's really struggled to kind of build and move away from its VWAP here, continues to move beneath it. If this breaks one of its intraday lows here, maybe look for that selling volume to pick up here. Tesla might be lower. No position here for me on Tesla, but I am watching this one. Around here at some other stuff.
Yeah, looks like DJT still wants to try to retake that 45 and stay above it, but I am not in that one. That thing, it was fun to trade for, but man, the spread on this thing can get pretty crazy.
DJT, that is?
That is it.
That's going for its intraday highs.
Take a look at this.
And take a look at this. So real quick. So if we take a look at PHG, now remember, I'm out of this here, but here we are higher than that stop. 13, this is something that we've talked about on a lot of different trades here. I know that I've seen you do this multiple times. But when this trade starts working out for you, you don't necessarily have to babysit it, depending on the type of trade. If you use your trailing stops or your stop limits in order to manage that trade for you, that frees up a lot of mental capital. It's exactly what we did here on PHG. Now, I guess it did fall back down to that 27.75. So we'll see where this ends up closing here. But again, just wanted to highlight, use some of the tools available to you to make the trading job easier. Oh my God, Dandelion's mentioning that Kava broke 70. I'll tell you what, I am a huge mea culpa here for me. I was definitely in the wrong restaurant name. My Chicago bias got the best of me. Kava has been outstanding here. Does look like we're kind of running into a double top here. Oh no, we actually broke above that. I beg your pardon. We broke above that here today. Kava, this looks like a really, really strong chart here. The high we have is what, 72 and change. That's back from April 1st on Kava. So we'll see if those all-time highs get taken out here. Ticker CAVA.
So what's really great about this is how it's been being very kind to technicals. On a Kava daily chart, you can see from August in 2023, we hit a high, we'll call it 58. So fast forward to last week or a couple weeks ago, we tested that as support after we had broken through it in February. So if you look at the daily chart, you can see where that $58 level that we put in from August 2023 turned into a support level for this price action that we're seeing today after bouncing off of it. Looks like last week, a week ago today.
You are exactly right. As you see here on the screen, this is exactly what 13 is talking about. Now what we're looking for here, upside break, let's call it 71.50.
Back out some more. Back out some more so you can see the there you go. That's the part I'm talking about to the left there.
Yeah, right here. This was that high.
Yeah.
That was now turned into support. Absolutely. Now that we've bounced off that support, the next spot that we're looking for here, that 71.54 level, we're also starting to get some of these moving average lines to be drawn onto the chart here. Everything looking good so far here on Kava.
Great call by Gerald today. BTSG, he was mentioning before it even moved that it looks like it's going to pop, and it has just done that. Great call.
Here is BTSG. Gerald telegraphing the volume expansion. You can see here right in the Trade the Pool broker, as that volume expanded, that's when we actually got this breakout and this price action looking good here, Gerald.
What else are we seeing, folks? Looks like DJT still having a hard time getting up to, or staying above 45. It's already been up there. It's been over that, but having a hard time staying over it.
Yeah. So Jay, let me ask you, Jay, by the way, mentioning in regards to our Kava discussion here, Jay mentioning that fast casual has been hot since Chipotle earnings. So Jay, a lot of what has been mentioned when it comes to the Kava thesis here is that, you know, Kava, the reason you should buy this stock is because Kava is going to be the next Chipotle except Mediterranean instead of Chipotle. And so I get it. What are your thoughts about that? One of my thoughts about that is, first of all, Chipotle has done just a magnificent job executing, even batting down E. coli scares like they're not even a big deal. So they've really done a great job executing. But the other thing that I think Chipotle has going for it is that Mexican food, just in general, is more well known. You go to any random person and you ask them what a burrito is, they're going to know. If you ask them what, you know, shawarma is, maybe that's not something, maybe something specifically on Kava's menu, maybe they won't. And I'm wondering if some of that Mediterranean food is, maybe you can't eat it as often, so maybe the sales over a long period aren't as good on Kava as Chipotle. I'd love to hear what you think about that. Is Kava the quote-unquote next Chipotle? And I would open that question up to the group, not just to Jay, anyone.
Well, I'll tell you right off the bat that if these wage prices are going to continue to rise like they have,
that's a really good point, 13.
Then you know, you might not see that. You might not see restaurant purveyors come out as much.
That's a really good. That's a really, really good point. Okay, Jay, here, getting your first answer here. Personally, I've never eaten at Kava. The times I have, the Kavas aren't that busy. Interesting. So you've never eaten there, but the times that you have, I think that you meant that the times that you go by there, they don't look busy. I've actually never seen a Kava. Maybe that'll be some due diligence that I need to do. Maybe some due diligence of tracking down a Kava in my area, seeing what the foot traffic is like, trying the food, and then reporting on it. That would be something that I could do. That would be something that I could do.
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground. Always. Always. Yeah, and the whole healthy eating thing, Lynn, this is the other thing, and this is going to sound crazy on the surface here, but this is actually one of the things that drives me to Chipotle. I understand the burrito, probably close to 2,000 calories, but if you do any type of regular exercise, you can burn through those calories. The food is very clean. The stuff's always fresh, which is really good. I load mine up with vegetables. And chicken as a protein is very lean protein, so there's a lot to like there. The thing for me about Chipotle is that, like, if I'm ever pressed for a meal and I don't have anything prepared, or I'm not going to an event or a gathering, if I just need something quick, I seem to default to Chipotle because it doesn't make me feel crappy. It's inexpensive. I get it quickly, and I know what I'm getting. And that's something that Kava would need to duplicate in order for that thesis to hold over the long term.
IBX,
something that we can
IBRX trying to move here. It's got some a wall at 950 that's trying to get through. For the question I had with Kava is how do people with those that are taking Ozempic, how do they like Kava? Is this something that kind of fits with their weight loss narrative, or is this something that that they don't eat at because the portion sizes are too big for them, or do they have Ozempic portion sizes? I'm just I don't have any information on that, but I think and every time that I think of a restaurant and I think of the change in eating habits that we as Americans have been undergoing lately, I think about the Ozempic crowd and how popular that's been becoming, and there's going to be any restaurants that are going to be making changes to the portion sizes of their menus.
So that's a really interesting point, 13. I think what's most impressive about that is how far you looked ahead there, because that's another discussion that we've been having as kind of like a topical theme here, is that if the semaglutides or any of those, competing or newer weight loss drugs end up proliferating, how is that then going to affect the food market? And this is a really good point that you're bringing up, because if the food actually is healthier, maybe it's more palatable for people that are on the GLP regimen. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, that is really an interesting question. That I like that. We're going to need 13. I'll tell you what, you woke up on the right side of the bed here today. I love where your head's at right now. I really do. I love it. And by the way, the only kava in Illinois is in Wicker Park, not really close to me, but I will say, folks, this is doable. Milwaukee Avenue is a straight shot. I got Milwaukee not far from me, so I could do this. When I figure out a good time to get this done, I'll do it for you, and I'll let you know what I think on kava. And I'll also pay attention to what Jay was paying attention to. What's the foot traffic like? I mean, Wicker Park, Chicago, that's a highly populated area. If that store is empty, that's no bueno. That's no bueno. I'll let you know. This is really good. We're coming up with homework for me here. I can't even believe I'm excited about it, but here we are.
Well, it's because you won't be graded. That's why.
That's true. Well, actually, you guys do a really good job of holding me accountable. I wouldn't say that I won't be graded. I don't think I'll be filleted, if you will, but graded might be okay. By the way, for any of you still interested in PGH, if you didn't do the exact same trade I did, look at how gorgeous this looks now. So I got stopped out and I'm happy about it. And we got the trade and the whole plan worked. Literally everything went well here. But if you stayed in this, or if you left on a trailer, look what happened. It actually back tested near that $28 level that we had and then continued to roll over. Now, if you are still in this trade, next spot here is going to be this candle low. I've got it at 27.48, your intraday low. We're only about 20 cents away from that. If this gets hit, maybe we do get that initial target that we heard about earlier from the chat here, 26.5. Something like that. So PHG here, this still in effect. And frankly, if we're going to go back and grade, just kind of off the discussion we were just having, with some more size, the proper play here would have been stop some out for a gain, make sure you lock some of that gain in, and then leave a trailer on for some more downside. It looks like that might be what's setting up here. Real good stuff.
The Swede was asked or commenting, it'll be interesting how Ozempic medicine that doesn't make you hungry, how that will affect restaurants. So here's my take on that, because I've been thinking about this for a bit. It's going to do well for restaurants. And it's going to be because if they are ordering the same things, the same meals that they've traditionally liked, but they don't want to eat as much, and restaurants start cutting back on portion sizes, but they don't really cut back on the prices, I think what ultimately happens is you're going to see margins improve in some of these restaurants as they're charging close to similar prices, maybe like a few bucks off the regular meal price. But the margin will be that much better because they don't have to make as much food. So their costs may come down a bit. That's what I'm thinking, at least some of the more savvy restaurants should be doing. That's what I would prefer to see, that if we have some more, Ozempic consumers going to these restaurants and they are able to buy these Ozempic portioned meals, that it might end up doing really well for those restaurants. That's just my personal opinion on it, though.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good here. And then Lynn, I this important to keep this in mind too. Inflation affects restaurants more than Ozempic. I would agree with that. And here's the thing though. I can't even believe I'm about to say this. Inflation may be transitory. And the thing is that I actually feel dirty saying that, to be quite honest with you. The fact is that once inflation is more kind of reined in, let's just assume, let's be optimists here. Let's be glass half full people here today and say that the inflation problem does get solved and we do move towards our 2% target. and we kind of, get some of these higher prices reined in. If that happens, I don't think people are going to stop taking semaglutide. So the ramp there, or the runway for that semaglutide to actually have an effect, might be longer than inflation. I agree with Lynn here. Inflation affects it more, especially in the short term, but that Ozempic might be a longer runway. We'll see how those effects play out over the long term. All of this really, really good stuff. This is why I love having discussions about this stuff in this setting too. You folks really did a great job here.
Oh, it looks like IBRX is not able to get back to 10. Starting to bleed here beneath VWAP now.
Weight
DJT
is transitory. Oh, sorry.
No worries. DJT is back above 45, trying to hold that. Still looking for 46.75 as the next upside target. AGBA still down here after that big ugly knife. So have fun with that. NKGN trying to recover, trying to retake the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. Not sure if that's going to materialize.
Sydney. I don't even know what to make of this, but it made me laugh, so I figured I'd throw it up on the screen. People in restaurant bathrooms shooting up Ozempic.
I'm going to go wash my hands.
Okay, I'm just going to throw this one out there. You take it for what it's worth. It would be better that they were doing this than the alternative, and I'm just going to leave it alone. Sydney, pretty funny joke. Appreciate the smile early on in the morning.
People that sit down at restaurants are not counting calories. I don't think that's the point I'm really making here, and I'm sure that I agree with you. I don't.
Wiz, take care of yourself, man. Go low if you play
Wiz,
today.
I don't think they're counting calories. I don't think anybody that sits down at a restaurant is really counting calories. I'm just talking about their appetite.
Do you remember when they had those apps, you had to fill? I can't imagine. That's the biggest downfall of those apps. I have to enter every what if I go for a handful of salted peanuts in the middle of the evening? I got to enter that into my app. I'm going to forget that stuff. I'm with you. Counting calories at a restaurant, forget it. Go out and have a good time. That's why you're there. Otherwise, if you're going to do that whole meal prep thing, do it at home. It's going to be much easier to control all that.
Yeah, I feel like meal micromanagement is just too much. Just eat healthy. If you really need to get down to that where you're trying to get 0% body fat, maybe that makes sense, but typical person doesn't. I don't think they need to be counting.
Yeah, and there are some real easy axioms to just follow. If you want to be healthier, eat less processed food, eat less sugar. Start with that, or cut alcohol out. Start with those 3 things. See where you're at, and then you can maybe tailor what works best for your body and your own fitness there.
Gerald's funny. I only go to standing restaurants.
Yeah, no, Gerald's a comedian. We got it. Sarah, I apologize for butchering your name there. IBRX getting close. Look, this has really kind of flirted with the breakout there, but hasn't yet. That to me, the 2 levels to pay attention to here, maybe you could say 9, but maybe 890, maybe a little bit lower since we kind of gone through that level. And then on the upside here, 950. So 890 to 950. That's 70 cents in here. We need to clear that range out before you have another trade here, honestly. Yeah, Smoke Tuna, I'm with you here. Americans need to learn how to eat real food. I'll tell you what, one of the biggest reasons why I want to move to a rural area is so that I can more focus on growing some of my own crops. I'm not a farmer, so I don't know if I can butcher my own animals. I just don't think I can actually do that. But growing my own crops is something I've kind of toyed with, and I'd like to do more full scale here. And that's kind of what I was saying, Smoke Tuna. If you eat cleaner, just simply eating clean, it doesn't mean never having pizza, but it means not having Pizza Hut and maybe going to a place or making it at home where you can control the ingredients that go into your dough and get higher quality cheese. There are things that you can do with just regular food that make a huge difference. I'm sorry, 13. I didn't mean to run you over.
Oh, don't worry. I'm just, going to make the point about how it's high fructose corn syrup more than anything that just is added to almost everything that we eat. And we need to really get off of that, or we need to demand that. We can demand with our wallets all we want, but the fact that it's in everything makes it real easy to have them continue putting it in everything. So I feel like there needs to be some kind of movement from Congress, because the FDA is not going to do anything about it.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was saying what you're talking about right now. I normally don't talk about like my own political beliefs outside of, some generalities, but I will say this right here based on what you just said. What you were just saying right there is a predominant reason why I am interested in RFK for president, because someone that actually understands health and nutrition and working out, being in one of the important seats to get that entire process started, I feel like he's more well equipped than any of the other potential candidates. But that's as an aside. Smoke Tuna here, say no to that triple XL soda. Not only is this a good piece of advice, I actually stopped drinking soda entirely, despite drinking it for my entire childhood, because of the high fructose corn syrup that you were just talking about here. I tell you what, I've got more energy. Food tastes better. I don't have as much of a sweet tooth, because things that didn't really taste sweet before now do taste sweet. And by the way, did you know that Subway can't even sell its bread in Ireland as bread? It's got too much sugar in it that they legally can't sell it as bread. So you're right. High fructose corn syrup, sugar really needs to get removed from the American diet. I don't know how we're going to force people to do that. I don't even know if the president can force people to do that. But you hit on something really, really important there. We can all do that by controlling our own diet. Anyway, I'm sorry for going off on a tangent here. I apologize.
No
Soda
worries.
is the worst. Soda is the worst.
No worries. I think there just need to. Well, one of the things I'm hearing about, and I don't know how true it is, there's a lot less health I guess we'll just say health education going on in schools. Nutritional education about the things that you should and shouldn't be eating. That's a rumor. I don't know how true it is. It might be different across different states, but that's that's alarming to me. Along with wood shop and metal shop leading districts, because these are important skills to have, and it's great information that you need to take with you when you go out to the world for the first time, is how to take care of yourself and how to eat better. The fact that we're taking these things out of schools it's unsettling.
Yeah, and stay focused, saying be careful with the government mandating things. That's not the way to go. I would agree with that. Real quickly, Elon saying buy the yellow cap Coke, which is made with real sugar. Do you one better if you buy the glass bottles from Costco that come in an affordable pack? They're made with cane sugar too. But I just said stop drinking all soda. I drink unsweetened iced tea. A lot of really good stuff like hibiscus, which is extremely good for your heart. I drink that on a regular basis. Smart guy here saying, I drink diet soda only. Aspartame is a good, safe alternative to sugar. I completely disagree with this. Maybe it's something personal. Everyone reacts differently, but any artificial sweetener has actually caused me stomach problems in the past. One of the reasons why I just avoid it entirely.
Fairchild, really fond of water. Me too.
Me too.
But stay focused. People need to understand sugar is killing people. I think people understand that and they just don't care.
Hello, YOLO, JOLO. Hello, popping to the highs here. Sorry for shifting gears there, but I had to do it before Lynn and Randy were.
No problem. It was getting pretty dire there anyway.
Okay, hold on one second. Hey.
Uh-oh. Alyssa just came out from the top rope and cleared it. Something's about to happen, Alyssa.
I was just gonna talk about sugar real quick.
Okay.
Like, doesn't it actually have change your brain chemically to the point where it's addicting?
Yes.
And, that's why no one wants to get rid of it. And you
yes.
hear the stories of people who cut it out completely, and their brains are just clear and focused for once in their life.
Yes, I've gone through this. I have not cut sugar out completely, just full disclosure. But I drastically reduced it. And yes, I can speak to some of those effects, Alyssa. Stay focused also mentioning there's research to go along with too much sugar and dementia. So go ahead and research that as well. Good stuff there.
That's not good.
Sugar makes me think of Dark Tower scenes. So as a Lord of the Rings fan, I can understand. Oh, that's the Two Towers. You might be referring to something else. Apologies.
Okay. So
Sugar is more addictive than Bang Bang powder. I don't think I've had Bang Bang powder, and frankly, I don't think I need it.
DJT had got as high as 45.83.
For a sec there, I thought you were about to say he got as high as wisdom, and I was like, nah, hell nah.
No, that would mean that the price would have to run up to $420.
Me too, Jane. Me too.
So Jane said, I admit I dumped sugar into my coffee. Look, coffee black is one of the things from heaven. I can't possibly mess that up with sugar. By the way, shout out to any of you that drink Nespresso. Flavored coffee with no sugar added. That's the way to go. Okay.
Just cycling through some of these names that we've been talking about today, and it's things are just kind of sideways more than anything else.
And I'm looking around. I'm trying to do the same thing. 13
BTSG though, that if we can start getting some volume in this one, that has a decent setup. It looks to break 1075. So there's one. I haven't looked at any of these bigger names in a little bit. How's Tesla doing? Tesla.
Oh God. R.I.P. Rob Smith. You're one of the greats.
Tesla got looks like it's trying to turn around. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, remember we talked about Tesla possibly breaking down. Well, we got an intraday double bottom there that kept this above. We did not break down there. I think we got okay. And then we did not break down there. We're still in this range. I want to see what happens when we break out of this range. That's what I'm looking for. That's right, El Toro, dude. Look, I used to dump sugar and cream in my coffee when I was younger. I actually think it was like in high school at some point. I went black and I never went back. And the thing is about your taste buds is that once you actually change them, it's hard to go back. Like now that I've given up soda for so many years, if I take a swig of soda, and that would be something like for example, a restaurant we just went to in Michigan had homemade or Northern Michigan branded sodas, all made with real sugar. And one of my coworkers got one of them, said the orange cream was really good. If I'm going to try a swig of that, it tastes so sweet. Like I'm not used to it. I'm used to less sugar. I buy from Costco. I buy these Reese's peanut butter cups, but they're made with dark chocolate instead of milk chocolate, and they have reduced sugar. It's like 2 grams per cup. It's something ridiculously low. And honestly, it tastes better. It tastes better than the regular Reese's because it's just not as sweet. Anyway, I'm done with my soapbox. We're done with this for today.
Seekin, I can appreciate that you're improving your coffee. I just hope that you're using a blend and not a single malt.
There you go.
That's my only hope.
Also, Stay Focused mentioning green tea, amazing. I drink multiple cups of tea per day. I do green and black. Fully support this comment. So are you folks ready for some new shirts? Because live trading pretty much just turned into health talk hour, and maybe we will continue this going forward. Still love your move from the top rope there. Big flying elbow.
All right, I'm gonna look at Oracle for Elon here. Let's see what he's
by the way, Stay Focused. Just got word right here breaking. Yes, thank you, VJ. Let me thank him first real quick, just so I can show my appreciation. Our news desk team confirms that the dividend date for Google in Pro is correct. So your ex-dividend date for Google confirmed June 10th of this year. There you go.
Elon.
VJ.
Elon, for me, I'd like to see Oracle get back above 118. That seems like that's the current resistance level based on the highs from February and in November. That seems like that's the current level to get and close over. We tried on Friday to get over that. We fell back beneath it and closed underneath it after touching the 50-day SMA. And now we're trying again today to get to 118. 118 for me is the big level, I think. So we start closing over that, move up through some of these SMAs. We could see some more upside, but I want to see 118 get taken out first.
Okay, real quick, last health comment of the day here. James saying, have you ever noticed sugar in the breading of Chick-fil-A? I can't eat them. It's okay, James. I speak trader, so I can read through some of those typos. The one thing that I will say here is that when you start eating less sugar, you start to realize how many things sugar is actually in. And James, your experience there is normal. You just tend to not eat it anymore. Okay. Go. Yeah. Who did I just run over, Alyssa? Sorry.
I was gonna say the same thing pretty much. Like when you stop eating as much sugar or even like unhealthy food in general and you go back to eat it, you can like feel your body reacting to it negatively.
Yep.
Like I feel sick when I eat anything with high fructose corn syrup or like any sort of anything like that.
Do you notice how much lighter you feel after not eating sugar for a little while? You start to feel more agile. It's absolutely insane. Just try this.
Less weight, absolutely.
Take a regular Coke and a Diet Coke and hold them in your hand. Hell, put them in water. Watch and see which one floats. The sugar one sinks, by the way.
I've never even done that before, but that's amazing. Okay, folks, we are at 11 o'clock here. I got to say, amazing Monday. Didn't mean to remove 13. Sorry.
I guess it's time to go.
Nope. That's not what I was trying to do. Okay. So first of all, folks, Alyssa 13, thank you very much for joining us and all of your input here today. Thanks everyone for joining us. We are going to be going to Trader Bacon. You don't have to go anywhere. I'm going to redirect you. We're going to be back at this again tomorrow. Folks, stay green, stay safe, and stay focused. And we will see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.